What's up, y'all? Good evening. Happy Wednesday, hump day. This is your man, KC, aka the only Jets fan, the only Clippers fan. We're reporting here live here in the basement, in the basement podcast with Next Step and K. Of course, I'm your man, K. How's everybody doing out there today? This is a quick midweek recap, and I'm going to go through it really quick. Starting first, I just want to send a shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Black Psychologist podcast. I also want to send a shout out to excuse me, changing the temperatures outside. Also, just want to send a shout out to the Black Psychologist podcast, SB Talk Sports, Get Your Bars Up podcast over there. Also, as well, everybody else is out there just doing their thing. It's been a great, pretty much middle of the week. I'm doing pretty good. But it's been a pretty good week for basketball per se on all levels, whether it be high school, college, and pro. Started off with Monday. Shout out to Archbishop Ryan. Archbishop Ryan and Father Judge were playing. They actually had 58 to 69 for Archbishop Ryan. I mean, Solberg, the Georgetown commit, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 7 blocks. Williams also contributed with 20 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And shout out to Little Matt Johnson. Number 1 in the programs, number 1 in your hearts as well. 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Also, we're going to just jump into some different things here. We're going to talk a little bit of New England Patriots. We're going to talk about that Travis Kelce and Justin Tucker beef. Dylan Brooks and LeBron beef has also been notched up too. We're going to talk a little football, a little bit of retiring numbers, a little bit of teams not retiring numbers. So we're going to get into that soon. Also, a shout out in the Catholic League as well. LaSalle College and Conwell Egan locked up LaSalle College. Won 74 to 64. Archbishop Carroll won over Cardinal O'Hara, 64 to 39. St. Joe's Prep, 71 to 61 over West Catholic on Tuesday. Emil Charter played Mastery Charter North. You know what? I'm just going to take a wild dive on this one. I'm just going to say, let's say MLTAP Charter by a little bit. Actually, they did. They actually won 74 to 40. Shout out to the Penn Charter girls yesterday. Chestnut Hill. And they actually won handily, 56 to 35. Kaylin Bethea had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Ryan Carter also had 16 points. If I'm reading this correctly, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6 steals. Okay, I see that. I see you out there. I see you out there, Penn Charter girls. I've been checking for you on Max Preps. Also, I want to give a shout out to Friends Select as well. Speaking of which, since I'm talking about the Friends League, I definitely want to send a big shout out to Jay Childs of Friends Select. He's actually averaging right now at this point, when you hear the applause and the bell, and also he's basically shooting a pretty good percentage from the 3-point line, 42% from the 3-point line from beyond the arc, 50% field goal range. Field goal percentage. I apologize, and too many F's in there. The 80% from the free throw line. So basically, he is in the 40, 50, 80 club. Not to be confused with the Larry Bird with the 50, I think it was like 50, 60, 90 club or something like that. So, yeah, but definitely great job by Jay Childs. Shout out to Eric Childs, E-Franchise. Shout out to cousin Keisha and the wrecking crew out there in Allegheny. Definitely want to give him some props right there because I actually did see that on Facebook. So I was like, yeah, let me give him a shout out. On that. Also, as well, if anybody that's listening right now, my brother and I, we were talking off stage about Prince, because if you haven't seen it, definitely check out. There's a couple specials and documentaries I definitely want you guys to check out if you guys have Netflix. If not have Netflix, get a Netflix gift card and just get it real quick. If for all us 80s babies and 70s babies who are familiar with the, We Are the World, that Live Aid stuff, when all the basically it was like a who's who came together in the 80s. So we're talking like Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Cyndi Lauper, let me see, who else? Diana Ross, Huey News, the guy who sang Footloose, I forgot his name, but I think it's like Huey Newton or something like, not Huey Newton, excuse me. Huey Lewis. There you go. Sorry about that. Anybody who was anybody in the 80s. Smokey Robinson, Lionel Richie, whoever. They all got together for the, We Are the World to, help feed the famine that's out there in Ethiopia back then in the 80s. But anyway, all that to say this, great documentary, shows like great behind the scenes footage of what it took to actually make that album, because it's hilarious in how they did it, but it was also serious at the same time. Because there was so many time constrictions, it was so many egos that had to be checked. It was so many disruptors. You're gonna hear that word a lot in that documentary. There were so many disruptors, like in that whole ensemble of like great singers, and definitely a great documentary for you to watch. It's like hilarious. My brother and I were laughing about it. Like we were talking about it today, and I was laughing about like the different scenes for every bit of like maybe almost 20 to 25 minutes, just cracking up, nonstop laughter. And you also see how talented Michael Jackson really is too. I mean, just supremely talented. You're also going to get also a look into the Michael Jackson and Prince beef as well. A lot of people, look at it as, like, as my brother was saying off stage, like they were actually like really beefing, not beefing in the way that, like how it is now, but it was just like, competition, Prince used to be like, well, how's this dude better than me? Because I can do a whole lot of things better than him. But then you also have Michael Jackson, and he might not be able to play as many instruments as Prince, but I think he's a better showman. Like just a smidge, like who can hold the show better. I mean, but I'm saying Prince can hold the show better too, but he holds it in his own way. So it's kind of like a toss up. So definitely want to check that out. Also, I was checking out the also Netflix series Griselda Blanco, which was she was the godmother, basically. Like, as I say, he's like the godfather and everything. He was like pretty much like the godmother. I mean, she like ran Florida from Colombia. And she came to Miami to, do her thing, but definitely take a look and watch that. Sofia Vergara actually playing Griselda Blanco. She does a wonderful job doing Spanish and English. So definitely check that out. Also as well, this Travis Kelce and Justin Tucker beef is kind of like boiled over a little bit. Travis Kelce is in the media now. He's calling Justin Tucker all types of names, calling him like an a-hole, dropping F-bombs here and there and stuff like that. And the reason why he's getting upset at Travis Kelce is because there's a whole bunch of unwritten rules that Justin Tucker broke, which was anytime that the team is coming out to practice and you're still out there, you're supposed to leave. This is Kansas City's turn to go out there and, practice on the field. And basically what Travis Kelce did was he just got Justin Tucker's stuff. So they just, throwing it away. Like because what was happening was Justin Tucker was like, he was trying to kick his field goals, but he was actually in the way of Patrick Mahomes, like trying to warm up. So, he pretty much took offense. He's protecting his quarterback too. He's protecting his team, protecting his turf. Get out the way. You're not supposed to. Same thing in basketball. If a team is going out there like to practice, like this is our time. You can't just like linger out there and just stay there just because it's your home field. Like that's how fights happen. And I think Kansas City actually took that to heart and used that for extra motivation. And that's rule number one in football. Like, why are you going to give a team extra added incentive and motivation to beat you? Now they're really going to throw it in your face. So that's probably the reason why Kansas City won. Not also because they stopped it. Well, they didn't run. The run was non-existent for Baltimore. But this is another reason why they can kind of like, rub more salt in the wound. So it felt even better, to Kansas City that they beat Baltimore not only on their home field, but they actually, because of that. Okay, it beats like that sometimes. Also, speaking of beef, shout out to Dylan Brooks and LeBron. They were locking it up the other day. It was hilarious. I mean, Dylan Brooks, you know what I can say about Dylan Brooks? I mean, for what he lacks in athleticism, I mean, even though this is like top tier level of basketball players. But I mean, like Dylan Brooks is really embracing his role as like the antagonist. Especially when it comes to like LeBron and other like star players, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. I don't know if he really wants it with Dre, but sometimes he goes to Dre too. As a matter of fact, he does go with Dre. He gets in his face, he like huffs and puffs and stuff like that. A couple of times he's done it to, he's done it to Kawhi. Kawhi didn't move. Kawhi just shot over him pretty much. But there was an incident. There was a couple incidents, as a matter of fact. I was actually watching this game. It was Houston and the Lakers. They were playing in Houston at the Toyota Center, and it was just like, I think like Dylan Brooks was going out his way to just try to frustrate LeBron James. LeBron James was already having like an okay game, but there were times when the ball was coming off the rim, and Dylan Brooks would try to like do a putback, but he would kind of like swing his body on while he's on the rim, or he'll try to like come off the rim unnecessarily and bump into LeBron. There's a couple times when, Dylan Brooks was coming over his back, swinging. There's this one incident where Dylan actually made contact and came over, and LeBron's going to play it. LeBron's going to play it all the way to the end. LeBron looked like he got hit by a tank, and he's falling. He's on the ground, and Dylan Brooks is just sitting there, like almost like standing over him, So I mean, just more to come with these shenanigans, should I say? But I definitely want to give Dylan Brooks some props for just playing his role, as the antagonist. Dennis Rodman, he is not, because he's not as athletic as Dennis Rodman. He might be a better shooter than Dennis Rodman, but Dennis Rodman, you are not. Because Dennis Rodman, he's not only was he a superior defender, he was also he was superior. He's also great at playing mind games as well. Like, not only he can get you out the game for that game, he might mess around and get you out the whole series if possible. And that was his role. His role was to keep you. If you're one of the leading rebounds on the team, like his job was to get you off the boards. That was his main job. That was it. So shout out to Dylan Brooks. Shout out for being the villain. Shout out for playing your part to your full ability. I mean, he's putting people in the seats. Houston paid him that money, so he's going to put people in the seats. Also, I want to shout out, before I go on, definitely want to shout out to some women's college basketball in the MEAC conference. HBCU, Morgan State and Norfolk State women's team, they actually locked up on Monday, and Norfolk State won 62-45. Shout out to Diamond Jackson, Philly's own Diamond Jackson. Had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals. Shout out. So also getting back to our my news and notes and everything like that. Also, congratulations to Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is actually officially retiring from the NBA. So now both of the Gasol brothers are officially done. And it got me thinking for Vancouver and Memphis, Vancouver/Memphis, like now that Marc Gasol is officially retired from the NBA, why isn't like Sharif Abdul-Rahim's number retired for Vancouver? Because I know he's up there in the Vancouver Hall of Fame, but why isn't his number actually retired, for Vancouver/Memphis? Even though he was actually a part, really technically, of the creation of the Vancouver, now Memphis Grizzlies. And my question is this: it's like, if that's the case, if you're gonna retire all these other numbers, like you're definitely gonna retire Zebo, Tony Allen. I know Mike Conley is gonna be there too. I think you should retire. This is just my opinion only, but I think you should retire Big Country, number 50. I think you should retire Sharif Abdul-Rahim. I know you're gonna retire Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol. Definitely retire Zebo. Whoa, somebody wrote Lawrence Moten. Okay, all right, you can retire Lawrence Moten. Maybe it's from Syracuse or something like that, or the Baltimore Hall of Fame, but whatever. And that also got me thinking about like the Raptors as well. Like for these Canadian teams, like if I'm about to start retiring Raptors jerseys, the first jersey I'm going to retire is Vince Carter and Damon Stoudemire. I might just do them probably both at the same time. Pause. That didn't sound too kosher. But that just comes down. I think I would do Vince Carter's first, and a lot of people disagree with that it's um because it say like Vince didn't stay long for the franchise, but neither did Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's probably going to get his number retired with probably the Spurs and the Raptors. And if Kawhi gets us to the finals, he might get a jersey retired with the Clippers. I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. Thank you, Kawhi. So I think when it comes down to it, I believe the Raptors should retire Vince Carter's jersey first, David Stoudemire second, probably Kawhi if he comes back for like a year, or maybe a year just to play out his contract and stuff like that. Kawhi, definitely Kyle Lowry for sure. Definitely get Kyle Lowry. If Kyle Lowry is going to get his number retired, then DeMar has to get his number retired too. I'm not sure. He might get Ring of Honor, but definitely a number retirement should be up there. And I'm just going to throw, like, just for, its and giggles, I'm going to throw Chris Bosh and Marcus Camby up there too, because he was there. Marcus Camby was there. He was part of the foundation, and maybe even Walt Williams. Shoot, might as well. So, but that's that's my opinion. Also, another question for you guys out there: what's going on with the Villanova Wildcats? Like, I think they lost like their third straight or something like that by now. Will this be the final coaching year for Kyle Neptune? I don't know. Because this is not Villanova type, this is not the Villanova type way, losing 3 games like that. The last time Villanova lost like 3 games straight was like probably maybe in Jay Wright's maybe year before they started really going to the tournament, and that's going to be like maybe like 07 or something like that, maybe. 07, maybe 08, when they just started getting on the map, when they had like that 4-guard lineup with like Mike Nardi and all those guys. Shout out to Mike Nardi. Let's see. Also Villanova, because I believe they lost to Marquette yesterday. So, yeah, keep an eye on Villanova. But like I said, it's not over for Villanova just yet. Because you can still rise to the occasion. You can still make your run in the Big East tournament, and then just get your automatic bid, and then whatever happens from there. Also, if you're not doing anything, some games actually to watch tonight, because we're about to wrap this up quick. Some notable games to watch tonight that just started. George Mason is playing at St. Joe's. Shout out to Coach Justin over there at St. Joe's, doing a great job. It's actually a home game, so if you're not doing anything, you're along the City Line Avenue area, definitely check it out. Also, Florida is actually playing. Florida's playing at Kentucky at 8:00. So if you're not doing anything, definitely get a chance to watch the tri-state area represent. You got Justin Edwards and DJ Wagner out there doing their thing. Hopefully, they can get off the snide and they can get a couple wins under their belt. I mean, because they're barely winning games here, but hopefully they can maybe win a little bit more convincingly in the more Kentucky fashion, as we say. Penn State and Rutgers are also playing tonight. Penn State is playing at Rutgers at 8:30. So if you're not doing anything, definitely check in the Big Ten Network. They're doing something. Also, number 1 UConn is actually playing tonight at 8:30. They're hosting UConn. Shout out to my Aunt Barb down there in UConn fan through and through. And when you can't, yes, UConn. So, and UConn is actually number 1 right now. So, and Providence has been playing pretty spirited ball, especially with their old coach. Coming back to Providence, and from Georgetown, Ed Cooley, as a matter of fact. Ed Cooley came back, and Providence gave him a nice warm reception. Also, they got the win, stormed the floor, and they can take that momentum with them when they're playing against UConn. And I know Providence can do it. Providence can definitely pull it off because they definitely have the athletes to pull it off. And definitely want to send a shout out. Speaking of Providence, a lot of people forget about how good Providence used to be back then when they had like Sham God, Jamel Thomas. Let me see. They had Derek Murdoch. Derek Murdoch? Was that his last name? I think that was his last name. I think it was, Eric Murdoch. Excuse me, Eric Murdoch. I apologize. Also, NBA games are playing right now. Actually, the Clippers and Wizards are actually playing right now as we speak. I believe Paul George is not playing tonight. He has a groin injury, so he done screwed up my fantasy basketball lineup for the day. Thanks, Paul. Also the Mavericks and Timberwolves are squaring off at 8 o'clock. So if you're not doing anything and you got a league pass, definitely check that out. Pelicans and Rockets are also playing at 8 p.m. So we're going to see what the villain's going to be doing. The villain named Dylan. We'll see what he's going to be doing against CJ McCollum and the rest of the crew over there. And other than that, shout out to the Ant-Man. Speaking of the Timberwolves, shout out to the Ant-Man. He got fined $40,000 cash for criticizing the officials in that loss a couple days ago. Other than that, from what I heard also through the grapevine, also the New England Patriots could possibly get Justin Fields in a trade. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Daryl, let me know. Because I think Justin Fields needs a change of scenery. So other than that, we're probably going to hit you back on Friday, and that's pretty much the wrap up. We're going to hit you back on Friday just to go over a couple more high school scores and college scores. Also, some more previews and some predictions for the upcoming Super Bowl that's coming up in 2 weeks. Let me know who you got. So, and once again, this has been a great Wednesday. Thanks for chilling out with me for this quick 20-minute time frame. We're just going over some highlights, seeing how you guys are doing. Just a little high school, college midweek check-in. And this is Kay, and I'm signing off. And thanks for listening, man. We love you. Thanks for your support from In the Basement. This is Kay, the Jets fan. Later.